What's up, guys? Jason here. Came across this site while doing some research for a different project, and I decided I wanted to do a site build series with you guys. So I'm taking this site, I went through and did a full audit of the site, both technical, SEO, a lot of different things, which I'm not going to cover right now, but just some of the top level things that showed up right away when I looked at the site is just the readability of this text. We can easily see that this is not going to meet contrast ratios here. And this happens a few different places on the website. So that was one thing. And just going through a lot of the other technical stuff, like their toilet repair page actually has a misspelling in the link. So if we go up here, you can actually see, or down on the left hand side here, you can see it has an R instead of a T for toilet. So just little things like that that I think we can fix along the way. So for this series, I'm going to break it up into a handful of different episodes. And for this first episode, we're going to go into the WordPress setup, a little bit of the automatic CSS setup and MetaBox setup. And we're going to try and break it down into little chunks that are easily followable. And I'll try and get out a handful of episodes at a time as I go through them. So again, this project is something that I came across and decided that I wanted to turn it into a site build with you guys so you can follow along and kind of see from the ground up as we go through this. So as I said, we have our setup for both WordPress, automatic CSS, and MetaBox that I want to get into today. But before we do that, I'm going to show you what I have here. So this is a Figma mockup of what we're going to go ahead and build out throughout this series. This is the full homepage that I have here. Some of this stuff is just placeholder, but some of it is going to get filled in, or some of this is exact copy that I plan to use. So this is a good starting point. It may change a little bit along the way as we go, but I just wanted to bring you guys in on this, and hopefully you learned something. And if you have questions along the way, please drop them down in the comments and I will happily respond. If there's something you want to see me do in this site build, also drop it down there. And if you really enjoy this video, drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more of this series. So let's go ahead and dive in. So I have a fresh install of WordPress. I've done very little. I've uploaded media, although I've not done anything inside Happy Files here. And I do have a number of plugins already activated and my license is put in already. Didn't want to do that while we were live, so I didn't accidentally share some licenses and have to burn those. So starting from here, anytime I start a new WordPress website, I always go in, click my screen options, and get rid of all of this stuff that I do not need. I usually keep my site health and at a glance here, but everything else can go away. From my posts, I go through and delete all of these and empty the trash there, so no more of those. Pages, I do the same thing, trash everything here. What I am going to do right away though is add our homepage in here. One thing I always like to do in Gutenberg here is go to my full screen mode and turn that off so that I get my menu back. I just don't like having that unavailable to me. So I always set that like that. I'm going to hit publish on this. And we are off to the races. Because I deleted my posts already, my comments are gone. And let's keep going down to my settings. I'm going to set my site title to Mr. Plumber ink. Set my time zone to Central, so I always use Chicago for that. Date format is fine, time format is fine, starting on Monday is fine. Click Save. Go on to writing, don't need to change anything there. Reading, I want to make sure this is discouraged from search engines at this moment. Don't need that being indexed as we build this out. I'm going to set my static home page here. Click Save. And then lastly, I'm going to come down to my permalinks and always make sure that it is on post name and click Save. All right, so that concludes my WordPress setup. Next, go ahead and look at our automatic CSS setup. So from the front end, I'm just going to open, oops, I went and clicked the wrong thing there. So got too excited and clicked on the wrong one. All right, we have automatic CSS open here. The first thing I'm going to do is just start with our palette. I'm going to use a handful of these different colors here. So I'm going to get these all turned on. Starting with my primary color, bringing over my hex color here is going to be that goldish yellow. My secondary color is going to be that blue color we saw. My base color is going to be almost like a slate, dark blue, almost black. And then my neutral is going to be just a neutral. I don't like going full black when I do these, but a relatively dark color is what I choose. All right. My danger color, I don't think I need to actually change this. And we might have hit a snag here. All right, let's try that again. Not sure what happened on that one. Okay, I got that set. My success color. I'm actually going to leave that one as it is. And my warning color, I'm going to actually turn off because we're just using the primary color for that similar color right there. Click Save. All right, let's look at a few other things. A background, we're going to keep that as white. All of this, I think we are good on. All right, same with all of these. I'm not going to use a dark or light mode on this website, so I'm just going to leave all of that alone. Looking at my typography, I may have to come back and play with this a little bit. Let's see what I have set for my scales here. I'm going to bump this up. So inside ACSS, if you go into a field, you can just use your up and down arrows to go up and down and change your values here, and makes it really easy to do that. I want to double check my mobile as well. I'm going to go up a little bit on that one too, 1.33. I think everything else I'm good on that for now. My font weight for my headings, I want to set to 700. and then everything else I am going to leave as is. All right, for my actual text now, base is going to be 18, and I'm going to bump down my ratio on that one, and 16 there, and keep that the same as well. I think everything is good here. Nothing that I want to set elsewhere on that. All right, looking at our layout, my website dimensions are going to be 1420. And I don't have a header height, so I'm not going to set that yet. Content grid, I'm not going to do anything else with that yet. All right, spacing. I think I'm going to leave everything as standard spacing here. On my other screen, I have the Figma project open where I used the Frames for Figma automatic CSS plugin. So I'm just making sure I copy over all our settings properly here. Okay, the base value there is good. I like that. Check our section spacing next. I'm going to bump this down to 60 instead of 80. I'm going to keep 16 on the mobile gutter. And block padding, section space M, that looks good. Container gap. I like that. Content gap, that's good. Grid gap, that's good. Automatic spacing's good. Smart spacing's good. I'm just going to hit save again so we make sure all of that is actually saved. Next, down to our buttons. All right, so start off with our global buttons, our block padding, which is our height. I'm going to bump up a little bit to 0.85 m. Horizontal padding, I'm going to leave the same. Minimum width, I'm going to leave the same. All right, let's take a look here. One thing I do know I want to do is I'm going to bump up my font weight a little bit on these. Everything else I think I'm going to leave as is. For the text on my button or my border styles, I'm going to change this to 1 pixel, leave it as solid. I'm going to continue on with my radius, and I can close that. My primary button, I am going to change my text color here because this is not going to meet my contrast ratio. So again, if I click into here, I can scroll up and down and change that. Same with my background, I can click on my hover states and see what those are going to be. All of that looks good. That looks good. So I think what I'm going to end up doing on my outline button is coming back and setting a color mix here. I'm going to leave it for now though. But I am going to make my text a little bit darker. I'm going to go semi-light on that, just so it's a little bit darker, and same here. Okay. I'm not going to do anything with these other ones. Secondary, let's take a look at this. I know I have a few of these secondary buttons as well. see if I can find one. I think we're going to go with a very light colored. Actually, doesn't look like we have any secondary buttons, but I will go ahead and style them just in case. So set to ultralight there, which I like. So I think we're actually going to be good on that one. Okay, and I'm going to stop over at my links. My link color I actually want to be secondary. And my decoration I want to be underlined with a offset of 0.25 em. And everything else I will keep as is. I don't think I'm going to need any of these other buttons at the moment. If we do, we can come back and turn them on. Surfaces and overlays I'm not going to mess with right now. Borders I do want to look at. Most specifically is going to be my radius. Which is going to be 10. I'm going to leave all that the same. And I think we're good there. All right, anything else? I do want to use the card framework in here, so we will play around with that. I'm just going to turn it on for now and not do anything else with it until we need it. Icon framework, that's on as well. Is there anything else? I think all these other things we're just going to leave for now and edit them as we need to. I don't think there's going to be anything else in here that I need to change. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save that, and we can close it and move on to our MetaBox stuff next. Close that, come back all the way down to MetaBox. First thing I'm going to do is set up a settings page, add new. I'm going to call this biz settings, and actually for my ID this should be all lowercase. Up here, call it biz settings. I usually like to use like a wrench for my icon on that, and I want this to show after my dashboard. I am going to add 3 different tabs. First is going to be a general. Then I'm going to go branding. And then I'm going to go social. And you'll see in a moment why I set those up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Go to my custom fields. And we're going to call this biz settings general. I'm going to set this to our settings page, biz settings, and my tab to general. And for here, I'm going to go ahead and put in a few different fields here. Let's go one more text area. So the very first one, we're going to call this business name. And we're going to go phone pretty. Phone link. Actually, I'm going to duplicate that because we're also going to add email in here as well. And again, you could potentially add in more specific, like an email field here instead of the one here. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll delete this one and stick with the original email type. Text area is going to be my address. And I think we're good to go there. Custom fields, add new, biz settings, branding, settings page, biz settings, and branding. And here I'm going to search and click on single image, and this is going to be my logo. If we had alternate logos, we could put multiple of them in, but for now I'm just going to set this one, and if we need to come back and add more later, we can do that. But so far I don't think that's going to be the case. So lastly, we're going to go biz settings, of social, and here we are going to add in, can't remember if they have a URL, and they do. We're going to duplicate that twice for now and go Facebook, and on this one we're going to go Instagram. Now if I had other socials along with these two, I would add them in as well, but this is all I need for now on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. Next, we're going to go over to post types, and I'm going to start adding those in. First one is going to be services. I like to make these plural for my slug. My label is going to be, I'm not going to change anything. Under advanced, I am going to turn on hierarchical so that I can make children and parent posts for these. And then let's look for our icon here. We can always decide what we want to do. We'll go with the businessman for this one. And anything else down here, I don't think I'm going to change that. For my positioning, let's go after pages. Under supports, I do need to turn on page attributes because we're making them hierarchical. So in order to be able to set that, we need to turn on page attributes in order to get that. I'm not going to set any taxonomies right now or any other features. I do like the ability to reorder posts, so I will set that. Go ahead and click save. We're going to add another one. Again, I'm going to make that plural. Advanced, I'm going to do the same thing on this one. And let's see if they have a could have swore they used to have a pen. We'll just go with a globe for this one since we're looking at a location type. And my supports, I'm going to turn my page attributes back on and reorder and click save. And then next we're going to do one more per our list here. We set up ACSS, we did MetaBox, we are on to our last legal page here. Okay, so jumping back in, we are going to set up legal. And this one I'm going to leave as singular. I don't need to turn this on for this one. And let's see what we want to go. Go with the book on this one. And we should be good on that. Click save. And what I didn't do on these other ones is actually change the positioning. So let's go and put this under actually I'm gonna do service area first. I'm gonna set that under services, save, post types, legal, and this one we're gonna put under our service area. All right. So we got those all in here. This is where we can come in and create our privacy policy. Our terms of service. Let's see if they had any other. I think I'll just start with those for now. For my service areas, we'll just go ahead and add in a few of these. Again, if I go back to their site here, we can see that we have a handful here. Go. Just add a few of these just so that we have some entered in. Okay. Do this last one and then we'll move on. Probably between videos I'll go in and add the rest of these just so you guys don't have to see me copy and paste a bunch of stuff. Now for my services, I am going to add in my main services here, which first one is going to be plumbing. And then if we go back over, next is going to be water heaters. And these are based off my Google profile, the Google profile that we're using for this company. So these are the categories that we're using. Next one is going to be drain cleaning. Next one is going to be heating. Cooling. And we should be good there. All right. So we got those in there. Next one I want to do is add a few things under each of them. So I'm going to add another service and we'll go. And you can see over on the right hand side here, I can now select what my parent is going to be. So in this case, I want plumbing to be the parent. I'm going to hit publish on that. I'm going to add another one and we'll go leak detection and we'll choose plumbing. And our next one under drain cleaning is going to be I'm just going to get a couple of these added into each. one more in this one. And next we're going to move on to our furnace, which is going to go under heating. All right, so you get the point on that. When I go back and look here now, you can see that these are nested underneath each of these. So now we've gone ahead and filled in all of our different options there. So this way we have some content in there. And I think that's going to wrap up everything for this first one. I know we didn't actually dive much into a lot of the other things here so far, but just wanted to get my basics set up. We got our homepage in. We've got some custom post types built in Metabox. We got a service page, which I can go in and put in some of the data here. And if I steal, it's not going to let me copy and paste that there. So let's take it from over here. So I like to do a pretty, and then I do the same version just without the text. I think there's also a way now in Etch that I can take out the formatting. So maybe in a later episode, I will work on doing that. But for now, I'm just going to leave that the same. I feel like their address was in here somewhere, so let me grab that. And here it is. I'm going to leave the email blank for now. Save that. My social, I never actually made those. Let's go back and make some custom fields here. And this one, or actually we did do that. Did I just not set them to the right thing? I did not. Settings page and social, there we go. Helps when you do it right. All right, we got those back over here. I'm gonna copy my Facebook one. Copy my Instagram one. Hit save. I'm going to come over to my media library here quick, and I'm going to create some different folders here. I'm going to do icons. I'm going to do branding. I'm going to do photos. And I think that's it for right now. So I can just drag these over. And you can see they get put into all of that. And I wonder, nope, it's not going to let me do that. So if I change to my layout here, I can select all of these. And is it going to let me? Move all of these. It might not. Let's see what happens. Nope. Ooh, it did work. All right. Go to the next page. Do the same thing. And then my last page. All right, so everything should be moved. I have one that's not. All right, so we got everything moved. Now I'm gonna come back to my business settings and my branding, and I'm gonna set my logo from here. And it seemed to have glitched out a little bit there. Let's take a look at this. Back to media. We're on all. Okay, it looks like that didn't want to move over for me. Try this again. All right. Every once in a while things glitch out like that, so you just got to work along the way with it. See if it works this time. Branding. And there we go. Apparently I just have to click on media library instead of upload. And you can see I have some alt text in there for these already. And I'm going to click save. And now we have all of that filled out and ready to go. All right, that's going to conclude this first episode here. I tried to keep it fairly short. It looks like we're a little over the 30-minute mark, but let's stop here. And again, check back shortly for the next episode. And again, in our next episode, we're going to dive into an Etch overview. And we're going to look at the index template. We're going to put in some skip links, our header, and our footer so that we can get started on our site build there. All right, we'll see you guys in the next episode.